Timeless Voyager Radio. Self-development radio for the open mind. Interviews with leading-edge authors and speakers, psychic phenomena and the unexplained, UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters, government cover-ups, alternative healthcare, new technologies. And now, Bruce Stephen Holmes for Timeless Voyager Radio.
The Montauk Project. Now, anyone who has listened to Timeless Voyager Radio on a regular basis is familiar with Al Bielek and the Philadelphia Experiment. Many times when Al Bielek talks, he talks about how the Philadelphia Experiment became part of the Montauk Project. This evening, my guest is Preston Nichols. He is the author of the Montauk Project and Montauk Revisited, and we're going to talk specifically about that project, what it meant, and what it means to us all today. Welcome to the show, Preston.
Okay.
Okay, now, the Montauk Project and Montauk Revisited, two very interesting books authored by you. Let's talk about the Montauk Project. What was the Montauk Project?
Well, when they got the Philadelphia Experiment operational, which eventually evolved into the stealth technology, they had to figure out how the human being could take the very strong electromagnetic field. Out of this arose a study into how human beings respond to electromagnetic fields, and this evolved into how can you control what people are saying, doing, thinking, and etc. using electromagnetic fields. And this eventually evolved into possible time travel, whether or not this was possible.
All right, so you're saying that the high electromagnetic fields not only had a major effect, of course, on the human being and in disrupting what is called the time lock. That's a person's ability to stay within time-space continuum that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time is able to, in a way, change their ability to, what, make free will choices or something?
This is what was being aimed at, although it wasn't all 100% effective, of course.
Now, where is Montauk for people who are not sure of that?
Okay, if you know where New York City is, Long Island is a suburb that goes east of New York City. It's an island that is roughly 120 miles long. On the southeastern tip of Long Island is Montauk Point. The Montauk Project took place on a deserted Air Force station known as the Montauk Air Force Station, hence the name the Montauk Project. Just like Project Invisibility was known as the Philadelphia Experiment because it was done in Philadelphia. Montauk was done at Montauk, New York.
Now, Preston, how do you have all of this information?
Well, I was one of the civilian employees at the Montauk Project. I was in charge of modifying and keep repairing maintenance on some of the electronic equipment out at the Montauk Project.
So you were actually there during, 1940? No, let's see, where would that be?
I was there from roughly 1969 to about 1983.
Now, I almost made a mistake there because I was thinking about the Philadelphia Experiment, which happened in 1943.
Yes.
The link up, the time warp that occurred was between 1943 and 1983.
83, yes.
What happened in 1983? I think this is very important for people to start getting an idea.
Well, in 1983, that's where, by the use of what we call witnessing in the metaphysical field, a loophole, a wormhole, so to speak, in the fabric of space-time was formed between Montauk 1983 and Philadelphia 1943. This was done literally by connecting the two time points through radio transmissions through time, by having equipment and people at the same place at the same times, and by using the biorhythm of the Earth as well to connect the 2 points. This is why you have the 43, the 63, the 83, and so on, points which represents a energetic peak in the Earth's biocycle itself.
Now, of course, the question, the old which came first, the chicken or the egg, comes up.
Yes, I know.
Here it comes, right?
Right.
So did the people in Montauk plan this thing to hook up with Philadelphia?
There is some evidence that this happened because Al Bielek or Edward Cameron remembers being told that the Philadelphia experiment had to happen August 12, 1943, or not happen at all, which is an idea that the thing was forced, that the dates were forced to, was forced to happen on those dates.
Let's talk about Edward Cameron for a few moments.
Yeah.
He became very interesting, certainly very important in the Philadelphia experiment. He was the brother that jumped off overboard. It's so hard because there are people that probably have not seen the movie, and I suggest you strongly go out and rent the Philadelphia experiment. The first movie, not the second one. The
Right.
Philadelphia experiment, not whatever the other one was. Edward Cameron was the one who jumped overboard after he and his brother...
Duncan Cameron.
I'm sorry, Duncan. Oh, wait, who was who?
There's Edward Cameron. You know him as Al Bielek.
Right. Okay, I got it. I knew I had it reversed.
And then there's Duncan Cameron.
Right. Duncan Cameron was the one who literally, as my understanding is, became very important in the Montauk Project. Am I wrong in that?
Yes, this is very true.
Yeah, I'm right. Okay.
Duncan, see, the Montauk Project was essentially a mind amplifier. Whatever a person could think of generated his mind. This thing created a virtual or an artificial reality which was broadcasted out into the ethers.
Now, let me see. There was a little, according to the book, and I remember this book very well, there was a picture of a chair.
Yeah, the chair was, we call that the Montauk chair. That was a lounge chair with a group of sensors that would pick the waves, so to speak, right out of the person. That was the input of the system. Then from there it went to a group of computers that would align, phase align, time align the signal, and then it went to a very large old-style radar transmitter, which the final amplifier was essentially a particle accelerator, where they were tapping the power right out of the atom itself by accelerating particles at the speed of light and tapping the vast amounts of energy that were released when you do that.
So now it was found that by having someone who had real strong psychic abilities, which of course Duncan was one of them, and hooking him up in this
to this
chair,
pile of equipment.
right, you were able to then create some very interesting realities of which...
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we talk about some of them?
Whatever, see, you got to remember, when you think of something, when you think a thought, a lot of people in the metaphysical, the Hindu field, philosophy in general, believe that that idea, something, is created somewhere in a reality that you create. A fleeting short a period of time as it is, it's created. Now, what we did was we took this thought, this creation, and amplified it, boosted it to the point where it became real and physical in our reality. We were able to create solid objects. We were able to create wormholes, vortexes, time tunnels, so to speak, to other times in space. We were able to transmit thoughts to other human beings and dominate what they thought and did, and etc. It just went on and on and on.
Now,
An avant-garde project like this, almost anything you do with it is interesting.
Now, let me see here. I'm going to stop for a moment. I want to tell people that there are 3 books.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to do this a little bit for people because I tell you, it's hard to find these books, folks. If you can find these books, good luck. Here they are. The Montauk Project, Montauk Revisited, and The Pyramids of Montauk. There are actually 3 books. Preston, let's continue talking then about this chair, about the fact that when was it only Duncan who sat in that chair?
No, there are other people who sat in the chair. We had multiple chairs of Montauk, and each one was tuned for a different person.